Today, we'll be taking a look at the stator assembly on this Whirlpool front-load washing machine. Be sure to visit ApplianceVideo.com, where you will find thousands of repair videos on the latest technology. And for a limited time, you can save big on an annual membership and take advantage of all of our premium benefits. ApplianceVideo.com. Do it right the first time. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for the proper voltage. Remember to also turn off the water. You will need the following tools to complete this repair. To begin, you must first remove this top panel. Now, in order to do so, on the back here we have 3 1/4" screws that have to be removed. Let's take these out. Then, to remove the top panel, you will simply push back, start to lift up. Next, we'll remove the back panel. To access your components, you must first remove this rear panel here. Now, before we start to remove all of the 1/4" screws around the perimeter, we're going to get a pair of pliers and push in this drain hose. It's held on by one kind of clip at the top. Press it in, just kind of get that in the base here. Then we'll go around and remove all the screws. Then, before we remove the last screw, just hold on to the middle, just to make sure it can't fall. We'll put our fingers in the hole, lift it up, and set it to the side. Now that we have the back panel removed, the next thing we'll have to do is remove the rotor here in order to access the stator. In order to remove your rotor, you have one 5/8" bolt in the middle that'll have to be removed. Take that out. Then, to pull the rotor off of the stator, you'll want to put both hands, one on the top, one on the bottom, and start to wiggle it off. And go to the other side if you need to. And set it to the side. Next, to remove the stator, we have multiple 5/16 bolts that have to be taken out. But prior to doing that, I recommend pulling the wiring off of the strain reliever there so that when it drops down, it's not tugging. So let's start with the ones on the bottom. Now, before we remove the last screw, let's go ahead and start to remove the wiring. You have a couple of strain relievers that are holding it on. Use a pair of pliers, or you can use a tack puller like I'm using to pull them off of the tub. There we go. We have a couple more kind of feeding in through the top. So remove that. Pull the one off of the control box. We'll want to open this portion of the control box, and then underneath we have where the unit is plugged in. Press in on the Molex and just attach it. Now that the wiring is down, this is a good opportunity to test the actual stator. And what you'll do is you'll test between these 3 terminals. Now, whether you go between blue and white, blue and red, or red and white, you should have the same continuity between each of these lines. If one of the lines is open, that means that it needs to be replaced. When removing the last bolt, make sure you hold on to the stator, slide it out, and set it to the side. When installing a new stator, you want to line it up where the wiring is going toward that top portion. Right like that. Insert our first screw and go ahead and reinstall the others. Let's start to slide our wiring up. We'll put it around this first strain reliever here, slide back on the one on the drum. We'll bring it back up, slide it onto the drum on the top, and finally reinstall your Molex in your control board. We'll pop this down to clip it in place. Now we can reinstall the rotor. To reinstall your rotor, what you want to do is carefully line it up with the shaft. It is magnetized, so it wants to draw in. And you may have to move it and jiggle it around in order to get it to line up, because the center has to slide in like so. Now, once you get it to this point, what I would recommend doing is putting in your screw. This is going to help draw it the rest of the way and tighten it up. Now we can reinstall the back panel. When reinstalling your back panel, we're going to get it in place and make sure the drain line is sticking in before we put in the screws on. We'll get it up, hold it, put in our first screw. You do not have to put it too tight, that way we can move it while we are installing the others. While we're here, let's pop in that drain line. Let's reinstall this side. Tighten up that center bolt. Now we can reinstall the top panel. When reinstalling your top panel, you'll want to start it back a little ways, and you'll want the slotted portion to be on the front, the screw portion to be on the back. Drop it down and it'll stick out probably about a 1/4 inch. Drop it in, and finally, let's go ahead and reinstall the 3 screws. And this will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality video from ApplianceVideo.com. If you found this video helpful, make sure you click the like and subscribe to our channel.